Tom Cotton in focus now, Republican from Arkansas, who sits on the Armed Services, Judiciary, and Intelligence Committees. Senator Cotton, I'll jump right in. I just tweeted the headline, or one of them was, when asked whether or not the Pentagon knows how many Americans are left in Afghanistan, there was a one-word answer, no. What's your reaction to that?
Harris, the situation around the Kabul airport is getting worse by the day. It's not getting better. John Kirby stressed how many flights are landing and we have control of the tarmac, but it is total violent chaos outside of the airport. Contrary to Joe Biden, who was on TV this morning claiming that the Taliban is cooperating with us, my office has been in touch with dozens of people on the ground outside the airport where the Taliban are beating people indiscriminately, taking their passports, taking their visa papers. All of this is happening just a few yards away from the gates, and American soldiers are not allowed to venture beyond that perimeter to try to secure American citizens who are making their way through these crowds, through Taliban goons, to get into the airport. So it may be true that the tarmac is under control, but that doesn't do any good for the thousands of American citizens who our government just told again cannot be guaranteed safe passage to the airport. That has to change, and it has to change today.
They can't even guarantee that they know who's on the ground. I mean, the Pentagon said refer to the State Department. The State Department gives, changing numbers. Jen Psaki went all the way to 11,000, but the previous number was 5,000. I mean, it's mind-boggling. I do want to get to this, and I know you've got to run. A very good source inside Afghanistan is telling Fox News today that there is real concern on the ground in Kabul that despite President Biden's promises, assurances in that ABC News interview last night that America will take off on August 31st, there is serious concern and worry that because of the slow current pace of processing, thousands of Americans will be left behind. How can there be such opposite facts on the ground of what a president is telling the American people and what we're seeing unfold and what you have shared that you know that's unfolding on the ground?
Harris, President Biden is confronting the consequences of his catastrophic miscalculation, of his horrific execution of the decision to withdraw our troops from Afghanistan, and he is spinning that relentlessly to try to convince the American people that everything is okay, the Taliban's cooperating, they're acting like a civilized government, when nothing could be farther from the truth. In that ABC interview, he even had to be pressed to acknowledge that, yes, perhaps we'll stay on the ground past August 31st. But if our government can't even say how many American citizens we have, what's going to stop Joe Biden from rolling up things and flying out on August 31st with thousands of American citizens left behind? Let me just say this, Harris. A lot of people have been speaking this week about comparisons to Saigon in 1975. What increasingly worries me is the scenario of Tehran in 1979, when 52 hostages held by the Ayatollah paralyzed American foreign policy for more than a year. Imagine if the Taliban has effective hostage control of thousands of Americans who are stranded in Afghanistan. It would be a catastrophe.
It would be, and I just want to quickly get in. That's why it has been your focus, because I caught this on Twitter. You are reaching out to people and saying for them to call your office. And there are other lawmakers doing this too, but you actually just helped one man that we knew of, that we just interviewed on Fox and Friends yesterday. He called on President Biden or anyone in power to help him, and you were able to help him. What did you do?
Well, Harris, we have a great team working around the clock to try to help Americans who are stranded behind enemy lines. We have a lot of contacts on the ground in the airport. We're able to connect them on occasion. When this is all behind us and everyone is safely out, maybe we can talk about it at greater length. Let's just say that if the State Department and the Biden administration are not able to help these American citizens, then we'll keep working around the clock to do everything we can. Now, we can't control those gates. We can't put people on an airplane manifest, but we can make sure they have the best information possible. And if we can, get them connected to people inside the airport who can help them get through these Taliban gangs that are policing all the roads and entry points to the airport.
You're still serving. I know your military background, but that's military service that you're talking about right now, helping people on the ground. Senator Cotton, I look forward to the day that we can look back and you can fill us in on how you saved Americans and how much was necessary during this administration. Thank you for your time. I know you've got to go.
Thank you, Harris.